There's a very interesting setup here in Kopin. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So Kopin is to be found in the very interesting VR and AR/holograms theme. So the performance is, it is massively outperforming the S&P 500. However, when we look here at the average loss, it's been substantial. So there's a minus 50% average fall here from the highs. So yeah, but this is something we just see in these, very, future-oriented themes. So these are, young, more or less young companies in, emerging industries, and there's huge uncertainty in the beginning. But if you do want those huge moves, then you have to go, out there on the risk curve. So I've categorized Kopin as, micro displays, still holding on to a 589% move from the low, but we have seen a minus 41% pullback. So here's the company's website, micro displays solutions for wearables, transforming the way people see, hear, and communicate. So they're providing critical components and solutions for wearable products for military, enterprise, industrial, medical, and consumer markets since 1990. So AR plus VR wearables must be human-centric. So, I mean, is wearables the future? Is AR the future? Virtual reality? Definitively, this is still, in the very early stages of, that revolution. The current problem with these kinds of headsets and, glasses is that it's so early that it's a bit uncomfortable to wear them for, a protracted period. Many people at least feel dizzy, there is, the physical sensation of having, a heavier equipment on the head that is uncomfortable. But all of these signs of the immaturity of the technology is also why there can be very interesting long-term opportunities for these stocks. That high level of uncertainty puts the price of the companies lower than they likely will be in the future. So this is the long-term history for Kopin. We see that it had an absolutely ridiculous move here during the dot-com bubble, completely crashed. Then it kind of got stuck in a monster consolidation box. Then when things looked at its worst. So let's actually sort of have a bit of a lesson about buy low, sell high. So this is, when things are peak pessimistic, and from that low to this high, approaching, 4,790-ish%. So let's say that you buy here, and let's say that you exit here. 1,515% move. From that level, like there to this high, that is only quote-unquote 202%. Though for those who did buy here and held on, they would have, 4,800-ish% gain. So you can see how getting in at the low generates huge alpha, huge. So the speculative investor here would have, this gain, even if he exited here, way before the top, the top, huge move. This person could literally, just exit his position, then go short, and even if he was like a diamond handing his short position and had it go 202% against him, which obviously you shouldn't do, but even if you were, still the huge alpha here more than makes up for that loss. Obviously, you shouldn't let the position go against you, but it just goes to show you that it is best to become bullish at a low level and best to become bearish at a higher level. So the reason why Kopin popped up on my radar, I think we have to go here to the daily data points. So we have seen a massive cool down. It was super hot here, so the bulls were begging for trouble, and they did get it. But we do have seen a protracted period of cooling down, and we do have what looks a lot like an inverse head and shoulders pattern in development. So when we look at the seasonality for Kopin, it does corroborate the idea that this right here could be the low of the right shoulder, because July is significantly stronger seasonally than June. That's very interesting. Now, August is weak though, so that's a bit of a problem. So it's not like a super roaringly bullish setup, but it is a potentially bullish setup. Beyond, that data, something that could help form the low of the right shoulder here is this green 50-day moving average. Support, support, resistance, resistance, support, support. So basically, there is obviously something going on here with the 50-day moving average. Price seems to react to it. So the bulls, they have an opportunity here. Number one, the seasonality is decent. You have moving average support here. We are potentially forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So the stars are aligning themselves for a very interesting opportunity. If we were to form a low here around, the 50-ish day moving average, just to get up here to this size, that would be a 76-ish% move. RSI, in the neutral zone, PPO, very much cooled down. Accumulation distribution is weaker than we would like it to be. Ideally, you would want to see a bit more accumulation at this point, given that we do have that inverse head and shoulders pattern, potentially, in development. So it's not perfect, but there's something going on. Here at Finviz, we do have a nice horizontal trendline support. Another, bullish data point. We do have this descending trendline, but that isn't really relevant right here and right now. Even going up there would be, $9.30-ish from, $8.06. So that would be a decent move. The price targets are very old. But you can see that the one here from 2020 is $2, and that is obviously not bullish. I have no idea where this target price comes from, $12, because we don't see anything remotely close to that here. So here is SAX. So F value, but value scores usually are very bad, frankly, for these highly speculative industries. So I'm not shocked to see a bad value score. The good news, the thing you really need to look at when evaluating these high spec plays, is the growth score. And a growth score is obviously good. A momentum also good. Industry rank top 48%, but they have a very broad category. Still, a company that, $736 million in market cap, it could certainly get a lot bigger. It's not small, but it's not really huge either. So if I were to sum up my tier curve for Kopin, it is, for a bullish thesis to play out, it is very important that this becomes an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If we look at this, longer term, we come from a very elevated RSI and PPO level, and if we do see more deterioration, especially if we start to lose here the 50-day moving average and horizontal support, then we could definitively go down much further. So this is a very critical situation here frankly, for the bulls. And I don't really think they have that much excuses for not acting on this opportunity. Looking very long term, this is one of the most interesting themes among the megatrends, in my opinion, because you could make a very strong case that VR, virtual reality, holograms, it is the future. We are still at a very, very early stage. The technology is still very immature. There's all kinds of issues when you use it, but that is actually good news for an investor. If you want those huge moves, then you actually need to get in those companies when there's a lot of uncertainties. If you wait until it goes fully mainstream, then you have missed the move. So it's sort of like that's just the nature of the beast.